I became deaf when I was 10 years old. That was due to meningitis. I am deaf. I became deaf at the age of 8. I went to Kerugoya School for the Deaf. Then I was at St. Angela's Mumia Secondary School for the Deaf. That was in 2004. I finished my O-levels. Then I went to Moi University before I joined Nairobi University for my master's.
We could not notice that she was deaf. I used to beat her very hard. I call her. She doesn't understand. She doesn't say anything. Now I say, Georgine, what is happening with you? I was really beating Georgine, not knowing that she was deaf. Georgine was just born normal, and when she was growing, she came to be deaf. So I think deaf is not a taboo. Yeah.
When I became deaf, my parents didn't know what to do. It was very difficult for them to accept why is our child deaf. But later on, when they took me to the hospital, the doctor advised them that we have many deaf children and they're just normal, just like any other child. My mother didn't accept this. My father did. But for many years, it disturbed my mother a lot. But later on, she just had to accept. And she feels the deaf and the hearing are equal, and that's okay.
The problem with these children, you see, we at home here, at times we go out to look for our daily bread and all this. These children are here alone. And you see, they cannot keep on staying at home, at a place. They walk everywhere. You go to visit every home, and you find those homes, you find people misleading them, beating them, mistreating them, because they don't understand.
We have some parents who are doing home visits, but sometimes they don't understand why the child is deaf. So when you do some home visit, we advise them to bring the children to school because the child needs education, despite the deafness. It's just the language barrier.
Sign language is like other languages like French, Chinese, Italian. So when a child is young, they can learn this language easily. Unlike when a child is already old, it's quite difficult for them to learn a new language, and it takes a lot of time. So that's the same with sign language. It's great if the parent maximizes on that period between when the child is born or starts to speak or express themselves through signs to the period of 5 years, so that a child already has developed complex ways of understanding language and people.
Some children learn sign language as young as 6 months. Sign language is the first language before acquiring a spoken language. So they can start learning sign language at 6 months as long as you teach them every day basic sign language. Then they will understand very fast. And they will acquire the other language very fast.
School starts at home first. If parents encourage children, they'll get motivated.
If I see any parents with deaf children, I will go to them and tell them they should take the children to school. I will make them aware of what the law says about deaf children. I will explain to them there is opportunity for them to change a child's life. They need to consider to help the deaf children from their heart and be able to explain what sign language is. After I became deaf, everybody else will talk to each other, but I couldn't join in. I wanted to play with them, but I couldn't communicate with them.
Yes, if you know how to make friends, and if you're a social person, your life will be much easier. But if you're lonely, you don't like making friends, then people will not like to socialize with you. So it will become very difficult for you to get any assistance. Find something to support maybe the children to go to a boarding school, then they'll be coming back at home when actually the school are closed. Because out there they cannot find any love. Love is at home. They can be successful. So the only thing, let them go to school. After I became deaf, my parents didn't know whether there was a deaf school or not. So I was in a regular school up to standard 5. And then my parents realized there's a school for the deaf. So I was transferred to Kapsabet School for the Deaf. After that, I went to Mumias Girls. Then later, I joined a college. I was the only deaf in that college. When I was growing up, I went to a hearing school. I started learning sign language about 5 years ago. But initially, I didn't have any sign language in me. But my family could find a way of communicating with me. So they could write or they could speak slowly, then they could help me understand. If you learn how to communicate with the deaf child, he will grow up to be something in future. And he will do some wonderful things that you don't know.
I was at Aga Khan Primary School until class 8, then to Machakos School for the Deaf. I'm in Form 3.
It happens that parents do not want to take the deaf child to school, and they say that they are not human. But our mother decided to take us to school. Many of them, they just stay at home. They have nothing to do, and there is often a communication breakdown.
In my view, the teachers should be hard on their students to perform well, so that they are pushed to work, and they shouldn't be excused to perform poorly because they are deaf.
When a parent sees a successful deaf person, then they would have a different feeling. So they will think like my deaf child can become like so and so. So they would bring them out and take them to school and take good care of them until they become like me.
The key thing I am saying is that when I went to the US, I met many professors who are deaf. There I learned that deaf people can become anything they want to be. I met many deaf people in universities, so I kept my goals high. I said to myself, one day I'll become a professor, and that is what I am right now.
I had many other dreams. I thought I would go to university and become somebody different. But when I became deaf, I was taken to a boarding school. That change made me lose a lot. From then, I didn't have the same dreams anymore. I had to cope with the deafness and didn't want to be any longer whatever I wanted to be before.
As I talk to deaf children in different schools, I'll tell them, I was a student just like you. I used to worry about my future. What will I become? What kind of person will I be? Will I become a carpenter or a tailor? Or will I be in high school or even university? So I understand your situation right now.
When I'm at home, since I don't have so many friends out there, so I feel I communicate with my friends through the phone, because like right now the teachers are on strike. So we are staying at home and we're missing our friends, so we decided to communicate and talk on phone. Because we cannot just keep quiet because we're not in school. So we have to communicate to them.
After I became deaf, many things happened within my family. There was disappointment, there was shock, and a lot of pain. I know they were really disappointed and shocked. It was difficult for them to find information. My parents could see a change in me. When they called me, I couldn't hear what they said. When they asked something, I couldn't respond. They spent a lot of time trying to get help. Finally, they were able to get an assessment for me and then a placement at Maseno School for the Deaf, so they were able to solve the problem.
I can say to parents with young children who are deaf is that they should take them to school. They should not feel shy. They should not listen to the society or what people are saying. They should take up the burden, because parenting is a career.
What I may want to tell the parents is that they need to be bold enough. It's only that you speak of your problem that you can get a solution.
A mother is always there for our children. It's only me maybe whom they can express themselves, or my spouse. But since they are girls, they will feel free to express themselves to me more than the other, maybe the father or the other relatives.
Or even where I normally say my two deaf children, people feel a bit pity. They feel sorry for me. But at times I normally tell them, no, you should not feel anything for me, anything bad about it. It's just a situation.
Parents should know that these children are not bewitched nor cursed. They can be people in the society. Deaf children are created by God. Even I am just like any other human being. When my mother saw I was deaf, she took me to a school from a very young age, where I got my education, and she didn't leave me at home. To secure good development for a child, take them to school early so that they can learn and be dependable in the future.
Maybe from the village perspective, they fear other people to see their disabled children because they'll think it's a curse or something. Or maybe I would say, some of them say it's some witchcraft. It's a way of thinking. If people know that I have a deaf child, or maybe I have a disabled child, then they'll shy away from you, they'll not interact with your family.
You know, when you have such a condition, what happens is that people come telling you so many stories about it. People tell you, go this way, go this way. At times even we were told to take our children to the witch doctors just to see whether something can be done, because that used to be. So those are part of the emotions that we were to bear with. But eventually we overcame.
Me, I was not ashamed, but some mothers, they are ashamed, because if you give birth to a lady or a baby boy, girl, like Georgian, some people may think that it is a curse. Maybe somebody has bewitched the kid, You see, that is a taboo. The taboo can only be broken by creating awareness. Tell them the truth of the matter. Whether a kid is disabled or what, a kid is a kid. If you take care, mold her, mold him very nicely, the kid will be somebody, someday, somewhere.
I don't think we should use our deafness as an excuse. We must have a very big expectation for ourselves. We can achieve anything we set our minds to.
And deaf can become anything. Can become lawyer, can become doctors.
Yes, it is a challenge to be a deaf person in this position, because communication is one key thing and it's a challenge for me. I solve this by using an interpreter, because then when I express my ideas, it is very clear for the audience I am talking to, and if they ask any questions, I am able to understand them.
I'm a student here. I was doing my master's in entrepreneurship development. So I've just finished. So this Wednesday I'll be presenting my thesis here.
I'm a VCT counselor, and at the same time, I'm doing henna design. I visit different homes, people call me, and then I go to help them to design. I don't want just to stay at home. I want to show the deaf people that we can do something to earn a living.
I am the advocacy manager, and we strive to bring change in the lives and situations of persons with disabilities. It is true that the church business is very difficult. We feel as a family that we are a good model for the church. Because we work together, we are always together, we support one another, we are a good example for them. If she wouldn't be there, I wouldn't be able to do most of the things that I do. It is important for us to have, it is a good defense for me, for example. Often, there are problems, conflicts within the community, marital issues, for example. When you're counseling a couple, and if I'm alone, I wouldn't be able to help them. If there's a young woman who is troubled at church and she wants to be counseled, it is important to have both of us there so she can deal with the women and I can deal with the men. Or we sit together and deal with the issues.
So they would always say, I want to copy you, I want to be like you. So I can do A, B, C, D, I could go to the university, I can do something. So I believe they can copy and become like me.
Is that to encourage parents and show, maybe in TV, I say, deaf are not stupid. They can learn and become clever.
This is my place of work. I like being here. That was my dream and I've achieved. In the next 5 years or in the future, I would like to own a school like this so that I can help the deaf children and the hearing. I want to set up a learning center. Thank you.
My goal is to get trained and be able to go into different parts of this country and show what we can do as comedians, actors, acrobats, or dancers. I also want to learn from other places what they do there. I want to concentrate on different countries to be able to train after I am trained here in Kenya.
Yes, I have a dream. I want to help the Muslim deaf girls to join sports. I've been working as a leader, and through that, they have been learning and are empowered.
I want to be a role model to the deaf children and to be able to advocate for their rights so we can see change here in Kenya and also in Africa at large. In 10 years' time, I believe by that time I'll have done my master's, I would have done my doctorate. Maybe I'll come back home to mentor children with disabilities and talk to the parents on how to mentor their children, how to encourage their children to get education and get a good life. So I want to come back and change the lives of persons with disabilities back at home.
As a family, we are very much proud. And as a mother, I'm very much proud because I did the right thing. So Georgine is now somewhere.
You must be bold enough as the leader of the house and show the leadership. And tell them that we are there. We are going to look for finances. We are going to educate you to the level that you want. Actually, this is our promise. I want to be a model parent. I want to be an example father who shall bring up his children to the fullness of their life. That's what I want to say.
Like in any relationship, there is no perfect relationship. Yes, we do have conflicts as husband and wife, but being Christians, when we have conflicts and we talk about it and we try to solve it, so we do not get annoyed and walk out of the marriage. I'll try to understand her mistake and we'll talk about it, or she'll understand mine and we talk about it, and we will solve the problem.
You should stop feeling sorry for yourself because you'll just receive sympathy from the community and it will not help. So you need to stand up and get action. Do what you think you can do to change your life. Don't wait for other people to come and help you all the time.
I am a deaf person. I can't hear anything. Everything about me is the same as anybody else. The only thing is that I can't hear. And I just need the support to help me help the community, to make it a better place for all.